We have new tag team champions.
JRW live. Hit the aisle, stack the card, chase that rare one, play it smart. Bobby Joe right by his side. JRW live ride. JRW live, let's go. Toy hunting shows on the road. Figure reviews, bold predictions too. WW week breaking it through.
What's up, Jared? Review here, the weekly setup review of Monday Night Raw. They kicked off the show with London going absolutely insane for Ofemi. But I'm like, they were going for like 5 minutes. It was crazy. But Ofemi gets to the ring, shows his gratitude to the crowd, and then talks about how Destiny's been on his side for all his career, how it's been destiny for him to defeat and conquer Brock Lesnar. It's now destiny for him to win the world title, for him to win the King of the Ring tournament, which he says Destiny's still on his side. He's going to win the King of the Ring tournament. And then Jey Uso's music hits, which I'm like, I'm like, oh, brother, this guy stinks. The meme from SpongeBob, that's exactly what goes in my head every time his music hits. Jey Uso comes down the ring, and then the crowd's going crazy. They're doing their stupid yeet shit. And then Ofemi's like, if you're even thinking about running it back, don't you dare. And then he runs it back. I'm like, oh my god, this shit's miserable to watch. And then Jey Uso goes on about how everybody's been doubting him his whole life, and that's why everybody doubted him for the Royal Rumble, and he won the Royal Rumble. Then everybody doubted him that he was going to win the Intercontinental title, and then he won the Intercontinental title. And then everybody's going to doubt him when he won the World title, and then he won the World title. And he's just like, everybody's a hater, everybody's a doubter, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna win the King of the Ring tournament because everybody's doubting me, and that's your warning shot, bop, which is so stupid that he thinks that's a fun catchphrase for him to say. The crowd care less about it. I'm like, seriously, he did the warning shot, bop, and the crowd, you could have heard a freaking pin drop in it. The crowd went dead because of that. Also called himself that he's like, oh yeah, that's right, everybody calls me him, which that's literally Carmelo Hayes' thing, not yours, Jey Uso. Like, he's now just stealing people's catchphrases and stuff. And the only thing about the crowd cared about, literally the only thing that the London crowd cared about, was doing the yeet stuff for the entrance. Otherwise, afterwards his promo, they could give two shits. And that's the definition of Jey Uso's career. Nobody cares after the entrance because he is this generation's ultimate warrior. He's just an entrance. So please, Ofemi, destroy this bum at Night of Champions, because otherwise, if he wins the King of the Ring tournament, I might crash out. Then we had Paige and Brie Bella defend their tag titles against Lila Valkyria and Bayley, which this was a homecoming for Paige, first time since returning to WWE, being in London, having her tag title match. They retained the tag titles. Honestly, I felt like this was a short match, but they retained the tag titles. And before this match, Lila Valkyria and Bayley were having this promo backstage about how, like, this is their last shot. This is their moment. They're going to win the tag titles. It has to happen. Well, it didn't happen. Then after the match, Bayley's like, it's okay, we'll get another title shot. And then out of nowhere, Lila Valkyria snaps and beats the holy hell out of Bayley. Just grounding and pounding, punching her in the face, gets her up, hits her finisher on her. The security has to come out and break up the fight. Has to get Lila Valkyria the hell out of there. Lila Valkyria snaps and takes out Bayley for really no reason. She just beats the holy hell out of her. And Lila Valkyria was the one that lost. It wasn't like Bayley was the one that got pinned. Lila Valkyria lost the match for her, but she lost her mind and beat up Bayley. Then Ethan Page went one-on-one with Dragon Lee after what happened last week with Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Ethan Page and Rusev. They had their now one-on-one match. Dragon Lee got his mask turned around backwards by Ethan Page in this match, so he couldn't see for a little bit. But Ethan Page was underneath Dragon Lee's legs. He was about to hit him. It looked like a Styles clash on him because he's been doing AJ Styles' moves because he was AJ Styles' mentor for Dragon Lee. Well, Ethan Page was smart and sat up and hit him with a low blow with his own head to Dragon Lee. Kind of unintentional. It was definitely intentional. But then Ethan Page ended up hitting his finisher 1, 2, 3. Ethan Page picks up the victory and defeats Dragon Lee. And I really hope all this stuff is building towards a big match of like a Fatal 4 or something like that at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title, because obviously Penta's also involved in the storyline. So hopefully we get a good like Fatal 4 or maybe a 6-man at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title, because I've been loving everybody involved in the Intercontinental Championship. Chad Gable's been going around apologizing to everybody for all the mistakes he made. Well, he went down to the ring and called out his former teammates, and I feel like we were back in 2023. He called out Otis, Akira Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree, and then we had a reunion of Alpha Academy. And he pretty much goes by each person apologizing. He tells Maxine Dupree she was able to do what he never did, win a singles title. He told Akira Tozawa that he has like grit and everything. He's such an awesome person. He feels bad for how he treated him. And then Otis, he's like, and then he almost like, it sounded like he was about to cry, talking about how their friendship's been over 20 years. He held Chad Gable's babies, his kids when they were babies, and how bad he treated Otis and everything like that. And it looked like Otis was about to hug Chad Gable, and Maxine Dupree stands in between them, and she goes off on Chad Gable about how he's all just full of lies, and she doesn't care about it, and she doesn't care about his apology. And her and Akira Tozawa walk out of there, and Otis stays, and he's looking at him. He's looking at him. Looks like he's about to hug him, and he's like about to shake his hand or something. Like he's like fighting to go with Chad Gable, and then finally he turns and walks out with Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. And now we haven't seen backstage. Maxine Dupree's been hanging out with Austin Theory, so I have a feeling Maxine Dupree's going to join the Vision. And I think Otis is going to go back to being with Chad Gable, but honestly, I don't want to see that because I want to see Chad Gable be great and be a single star. Like, no hate against Otis. I love Otis, but I feel like having Otis and Akira Tozawa back with Chad Gable will definitely hold down and weigh down Chad Gable's career. Then there was an in-ring interview with Io Sky about her being in the Queen of the Ring tournament while she was quickly interrupted by the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. If Liv Morgan wins this Queen of the Ring tournament, apparently she faces Rhea Ripley for the other world titles, so she get a chance of having both titles. But if Io Sky wins, then she has a choice of facing Rhea Ripley, or she gets to face Liv Morgan. So if she wins the Queen of the Ring tournament, she gets a chance of beating Liv Morgan twice. Well, Liv Morgan comes down the ring and talks about how she's the best in the world, best women's champion ever, and she's going to win the Queen of the Ring tournament. And then Io Sky goes after her, attacks her, and beats up Liv Morgan, kicks her out of the ring, and she gets the upper hand going into the Night of Champions. So looks like Liv Morgan might just win this. If you know the history of wrestling, whoever gets the upper hand before the show usually loses. Then backstage, JD McDonough and Dirty Dom pressed Danhausen about apparently he stole money from them. And Danhausen's like, I spent it all. It was $100,000 I spent it on this equipment. And they were like absolutely shocked that he was able to spend that money. And then Danhausen says, you are cursed to JD McDonough. Goes to say it to Dirty Dom. He moves out of the way, curses JD McDonough. And JD McDonough touches one of the equipment pieces and gets electrocuted. And then he's like all messed up for the rest of the show, all electrocuted and everything like that. But honestly, man, just the Danhausen's backstage skits are so ridiculous, but they're honestly funny. Then we had LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso, because backstage, LA Knight was going off on Adam Pearce, and Jimmy Uso came down, was like, what the hell, man? He goes, I'm the only one on the bloodline that has some respect for you. He goes, it really doesn't seem like it, and blah, blah, blah. They're all going back and forth with Adam Pearce and everything like that. They're also going off on Jacob Fatu, like, where the hell have you been? Well, ended up setting up a match between LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso and LA Knight go down there. They have a decent match going back and forth. And I feel like it's been forever since LA Knight got the victory, which he did. He picks up the victory because of the help of Solo Sikoa, which you might be thinking, what? Solo Sikoa helps LA Knight? That makes no sense. Well, guess what? Solo Sikoa and the MFTs do not like the bloodline because Solo Sikoa apparently comes down to the ring and looks like he's about to strike LA Knight because Jimmy Uso is going to the top rope. But instead, he grabs Jimmy Uso. He hits him with that Samoan spike. Jimmy Uso drops to the ring. BFT, 1, 2, 3. LA Knight picks up the victory. First time seeing him win on Raw, I feel like, in forever. And Jimmy Uso has been screwed over by his own blood, his own family. Solo Sikoa, I guess there's two different sides of this family now. I am definitely curious where this goes, but honestly, man, this just feels like they are trying to hit the greatest hits with the bloodline so bad. Like, they're so desperate, and they're just trying to hit the greatest hits with the bloodline, and it's really, really annoying when I think Roman Reigns could have done so much better stuff with the world title instead of just doing more bloodline bullshit. Then backstage, they had to sit down with Seth Rollins and Corey Graves, interviewing Seth Rollins about how he's going to be facing Braun Breaker this weekend at Night of Champions in a steel cage match. And Seth Rollins really seemed like he was unfazed, and he's more dedicated towards just getting rid of the Vision and then focusing on going after his world title, because he mainly talks about how he's going to handle Braun Breaker and that he's coming for the world title that he never lost, which just pisses me off even more and proves my point that Seth Rollins should be facing OFM in the King of the Ring tournament, and then OFM gets screwed by Brock Lesnar, and then Seth Rollins goes to face on Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the world title. Like, that would have been so much better. But instead, we got the stupid-ass Jey Uso in this match. Like, oh my god, it pisses me off so much that Jey Uso has a really good chance of winning the King of the Ring tournament. Then it was time for the main event. The Street Profits take on Braun Breaker and Austin Theory, the Vision, for the Tag Team Championships, and this match was absolutely fantastic. They gave this match a lot of time. It was almost like a 30-minute match. They were out there cooking. The Street Profits are by far my favorite tag team of the past 5 years for WWE. They're just so freaking good in the ring, and they're so entertaining. They were just insane athletes, especially Montez Ford. They just put on great matches. And I really liked, honestly, Braun Breaker and Austin Theory, and I liked when it was Logan Paul and Austin Theory. I feel like the whole Vision as a tag team is actually really good. And this was a great match, and then Logan Paul was on ringside. He got thrown out by the referee, but later in the match, he shows up, and he goes to hand the brass knuckles to Austin Theory. When Joe Hendry's music hits, he appears. We haven't seen him since he got beat up by the Vision, by Austin Theory with a steel chair, and he chases off Logan Paul, but Logan Paul still was able to drop the steel brass knuckles. It was outside of the ring, and here comes Seth Rollins. He jumps the barricade, grabs the brass knuckles, punches Austin Theory in the face with the brass knuckles, and runs off. Braun Breaker, who's in the match, chases Seth Rollins out of the area of the ring into the crowd, which he just left Austin Theory high and dry in the ring, which Montez Ford hits one of those crazy high frog splashes on Austin Theory. 1, 2, 3. We have new WWE Tag Team Champions. The Street Profits defeat the Vision for the tag titles. We have new champions. Thank God. I'm so excited that the Street Profits are champions. Give them a good title run. Like, seriously, they deserve it. They're amazing. I'm just so excited that they won the tag titles. Now, WWE, don't mess it up. Give them a good title run. Let them have good matches with good tag teams, which they fired most of them. They got rid of the New Day. They got rid of Motor City Machine Guns. Like, generally, besides the Vision and the Street Profits, I can't even think of another tag team that's on Monday Night Raw off the top of my head. Like, I generally can't think of one, which is very sad. I'm like, WWE's just completely gotten rid of all their freaking tag teams. But there you go, guys. That was the setup review of Monday Night Raw this week. Honestly, this was the setup review of Monday Night Raw from London. Honestly, thought this was a solid Monday Night Raw. I was very entertained. The beginning of it was good. I just can't stand Jey Uso. Main event was fantastic. I honestly don't like the Chad Gable and the Otis and everything. I just feel like we're going back 3 years. But overall, I was very entertained from this Monday Night Raw, especially the main event. So I'm going to give this Monday Night Raw a 4 out of 5. I thought it was fantastic. Certain spots were low, but man, that main event really kept me entertained, and it's really helping boost the ratings, in my personal opinion, of the overall show. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell because we post every single day here on JW Live on this YouTube channel. You don't want to miss out on the awesome wrestling food content we post. And I'll see you guys in the next one.